Hey, this is Jamal, and I basically wanted to record a short video, because there are a lot of things that are going on in the news today that I just want to comment on. Number one, the Syria thing. I do understand. Let me say this. I definitely understand the need or rationale for those like Senator McCain and former President Clinton and John Bolton. I understand the need, and in my opinion, maybe the knee-jerk reaction to want to intervene into the Syrian civil war. We've now learned that the United States is getting ready to what they call send lethal force to Syria. Now, of course, what that means, we don't quite know yet. But we know that means they're going to be sending arms and probably a lot of our money, my money, taxpayer money, to Syria. Let me remind those like Senator McCain and those who have been pushing very hard for this intervention into Syria. Let me remind them of a lesson in history. Back in the 1980s, we did the same thing with another group. It was called the Mujahideen. That later became Al-Qaeda, and then a few years later they flew planes into buildings, killing thousands of Americans. They flew a plane into the Pentagon, killing hundreds there. They crashed the plane. Thank God, because the passengers rose up against the terrorists, but they crashed the plane in the field of Pennsylvania. These are the same people that back during the 1980s we trained. We gave them arms, we gave them supplies, we gave them money. We funneled it through Pakistan, because we had the mentality, the ideology at the time that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's the same mentality we have now. Even though we have ample evidence, there are rampant media reports that there are Al-Qaeda and other fundamentalist groups within the Syrian rebels. They are coming from all over the Middle East to fight Assad, just like they were doing in the 1980s in Afghanistan, coming from all over the world to fight the Soviets. They're doing the same thing in Syria, and once again, the United States is on the wrong side of history. Like I said, I do understand the issue with nearly 100,000 people being killed. I do understand millions of people have been displaced from their homes. But one thing I need for political officials and Senator McCain and President Clinton and all those who are pushing for all this U.S. intervention into Syria, it's like, who are the rebels? What will be the blowback for arming these people? I mean, have we forgot about the 1980s and the Mujahideen and morphing into Al-Qaeda and 9/11? There are unintended consequences to our reckless foreign policy. There are unintended consequences to it. What's going to happen years from now when those those shoulder rocket launchers and rifles and whatever kind of arms we give them? What's going to happen years from now when those same arms are being used against American troops or American personnel that are stationed in the area? What happens years from now if those arms are found to have been used in an attack on another American consulate or embassy somewhere in that region? And it was our weapons that these terrorists used. I mean, there is no doubt that they are terrorists, Al-Qaeda amongst the rebels. So why would you arm Al-Qaeda? Why would you arm Al-Qaeda? Then on the other issue, the NSA issue. I was watching The Five, and I literally had to turn it off because one of the guys on there, Greg Gutfeld, who usually I agree with a lot of the things he says usually, but today he really just pissed me off. I turned off the television, and honestly, I'm probably not going to watch The Five again for at least another week or two. Like, they don't need me. I'm not going to give them ratings. I'm not going to give that ratings what I heard on The Five today, because it was absolutely ridiculous. You had everybody on the panel, with the exception of Eric Bolling, who was actually reading the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution against unlawful search and seizure. He read the amendment out loud, and Greg Gutfeld's only response to him was, well, what the NSA is doing, the data mining, collecting of all our Americans' phone records, billions of our phone records today, you know, they're emails, and they're on our Twitter pages, on our Facebook and all this stuff. And so his reply was that the only reason that Bowling had a problem with what was going on at the NSA was because it was Obama doing it and not Bush. Okay, well, to Greg, let me address you. I had a problem with it when Bush was doing it. I have never been a fan of the Patriot Act. At least not to my knowledge. I mean, I could have been going back to 2002. 9/11 is fresh in everybody's mind. Everybody's panicking. We need to do something. But I can guarantee you, after learning, I've been against the Patriot Act for many years after learning exactly the power that it gave the central government. And it is a problem for me. It is a problem for other Americans, as you can see being reflected in the polls that are coming out on a day-to-day basis. It is a problem. It is a major problem and a major breach of the Bill of Rights, a major breach of the Fourth Amendment, when you have the National Security Agency just collecting billions of our phone records and storing them. First of all, there's no need. There's absolutely no need. If the government believes that they have a person of interest, somebody who they consider a terrorist, or a group of people, or a network of people that they consider to be a terrorist, fine, you target those people. Okay, you want to target people? You target the people who are coming from all these Muslim lands. Target them. Some people, oh, that's profiling. Who gives a damn? Maybe it is profiling, but those are the people who are blowing everything up. You don't have, 80-year-old, Irish Catholic grandmothers, blowing up buildings. There is a common denominator, Greg and everybody else. Michelle Malkin, I've heard her, supporting John Bolton, all of the neocons. I hear all of your stupid arguments, for this type of surveillance program. But the fact of the matter is, it's not necessary. We have targeted surveillance. The majority of the plots that are foiled are foiled by just regular, ordinary police work, following up leads. You do not have to target the entire American population. You do not have to throw a dragnet over all of our communications if you're just basically trying to find out who the terrorists are. Where do the terrorists come from? What countries do they come from? What countries do they call? Where are their training camps? Okay, target the people who come from those countries. Target the phone calls that are coming from those countries. FBI. I saw the FBI Director Mueller in his testimony today. FBI, you really want to find out and you want to foil the next terrorist plot because you miserably failed the Boston bombing. You failed. People were killed. There was a terrorist attack in America. FBI, Obama administration, Justice Department, NSA, and this massive dragnet, you failed. We were hit. If you really want to stop a terrorist attack, you know what you need to do? Take your ass into some of these mosques. Listen to some of the stuff that these people are saying. Monitor them. Monitor their phone calls. I don't care. You can have the ACLU and whoever else jumping up and down, screaming, civil liberty. I don't, listen. Terrorism in this day and age, let's just face facts, is coming from one direction. There is a common thread. There is a common denominator. With all these self-proclaimed, self-radicalized, whatever, these terrorists. You monitor them. Monitor these jihadist websites. Like I said, monitor their phone calls. When they going overseas, there is no way in the world that boy who bombed Boston should have been able to go over to Chechnya, get training, because that's what he did. Go over to Chechnya, get training, and then bring his ass back to America, and nothing goes off. I forgot. I think Janet Napolitano said there was a ping in their system. What the hell is that? A ping in the system? With all this the massive spy network of the NSA, you guys couldn't get the Boston bomber? Even after the Russian government warned you? What good are you? What good are you? This has nothing to do, let me tell you something, this has nothing to do with catching terrorists. This has to do with Big Brother, 1984, Orwell surveilling the American people, getting all our phone records, you know, all of our info. And honestly, I believe the reason that they're taking it is so they can use it against us in the future. Really. I believe that the government is getting and they're compiling profiles of the American people to use against their political enemies, no matter what party's in power. But they are getting this information to compile it on us. They want to know our whereabouts, where we're going, what we're doing. That's none of the government's business, and they have no right to do it. Honestly, to be quite honest with you, I don't even think the Patriot Act is constitutional, but let's just say it is. I've heard from the author of the Patriot Act who said that this critical section 215 within the Patriot Act, that section within the Patriot Act actually does not even authorize what the NSA is doing. So the Patriot Act, as unconstitutional as I think that is not big government, big brother enough for the Obama administration and for the NSA and for people like Karl Rove, and because this is bipartisan, John Bolton and all these, you know, the clowns on the five, with the exception of Eric Bowling, the clowns on the five. Everybody, even the Democrats, the liberals on MSNBC defending the program. Now, of course, if it was Bush, they would be trashing it like they were back in 2005, 2006 when they found out about the so-called warrantless wiretaps. Fact of the matter is, this is warrantless dynamiting. Like, okay, the FISA court, they keep bringing up this issue. The FISA court approved it. The FISA court approved it. The FISA court is a rubber stamp. Any court that approves 99.9% of the warrants that are presented to it is a rubber stamp. Then, of course, we know that nobody on the other side, when the Justice Department or whoever goes into these FISA courts and they argue for these warrants, we know that is ex parte. There is no one on the other side arguing against the government. It's just the government. It's the government and the judge. That's it. And of course, the federal government, the agent from the Justice Department and the judge are from the same. They're from the same arm of government. Yes, I understand there are three branches of government, but they're all from the federal government. They are all an arm of the federal government. It's like, you know, I just don't understand how. I just don't understand how people can be so. How some people who call themselves conservatives or call themselves constitutionalists or whatever, how they can be so unconcerned about the Fourth Amendment, but they are always so amped and hyped about the Second Amendment. Let me take for instance, all these people, Bolton, Karl Rove, all the talking heads you see on Fox, all their commentators, most of them vehemently oppose the Toomey Manchin background check bill, with, you know, dealing with gun control. Now, granted, of course, I disapprove of it too, but for different reasons, because I'm a strong advocate for the Second Amendment. But see, I'm not just a strong advocate for the Second Amendment. I'm a strong advocate, like Rand Paul, for the entire Bill of Rights. There are 10 of them, you know. And I'm just as zealous about the Fourth Amendment as I am about the Second. But the problem is that you have with these so-called Republicans, you know, conservatives or constitutionalists or patriot, whatever they want to call themselves, is that it's okay when the government violates the Fourth Amendment. It's okay when the government violates the Fifth Amendment. You know, when you have. It's okay when the government spies on us. It's okay when the government has secret prisons all over the world. It's okay when the government passes a defense authorization bill that literally gives the President of the United States the power to imprison American citizens without trial, without their Fifth Amendment due process rights. But you never, ever, ever hear the right, the talking heads on Fox News, you never hear the right up in arms about that. You never hear them up in arms about that. I hear some of them up in arms about it. You know, some of the guys on talk radio, stuff like that. But I mean, it's kind of hit and miss. I just don't understand. If you have an allegiance to the Constitution, then you have an allegiance to the Constitution. No matter what amendment it is, you have an allegiance to the Constitution and you should follow it. So, with that said, let me just say to conservatives, Republicans, people who follow me on Twitter and on Facebook and Tumblr and things like that, YouTube. I made a video a long time ago and I titled the video Why I'm a Conservative. Video has like thousands of views, 30, 40,000 views or something like that. Just based off word of mouth, people passing it around. And I guess you could say that was the video that kind of put me on the map. If I'm on the map, I don't know. But people began to know who I was and stuff like that. I got speaking engagements at different places, different Tea Party events, stuff like that. I don't think I can consider myself a conservative any longer. Because of being a conservative is Karl Rove, I'm not a conservative. If being a conservative is John McCain, I'm not a conservative. If being a conservative is Speaker Boehner or Mitch McConnell, I'm not a conservative. There's just so much within there's just so much that self-proclaimed conservatives approve of that I can't. I mean, the term constitutionally conservative, I know Rand Paul uses that term to describe himself. I've used that term to describe myself. But I mean, I'm really just getting to the point where it's just like I'm just a conservative libertarian. I can't say I'm a complete libertarian, of course, because most libertarians are not really, into the social things, the pro-life, pro-choice thing. I am unapologetically pro-life. I'm pro-life. Life begins at conception. I'm pro-life. That's never going to change. But I mean, libertarianism is like the only thing that I can identify with. I just don't understand the wanting of our political officials and media elite and all these people you see on Fox and MSNBC and CNN, these stupid people, these stupid talking heads. And it's like all they want is just more government and more, and they're always defending the government. I've never seen that was not the point of the press. The point of the press and the media was not to be water carriers for the government. And that's all our media is today. They are water carriers for the government. Whether it be the Bush administration, whether it be the Obama administration, whether it be the Clinton administration, all they do is carry water. And I hate it. I freaking hate it. I freaking hate it. And I mean, I think that's probably why I like people like Rand Paul, why I like people like even Sarah Palin, who bucks both political systems, both political parties, and said, both of y'all are wrong. Y'all are wrong. Like my right to privacy, my right to be secure in my papers, my right to be secure in my communications guaranteed by the Fourth Amendment, my right not to be in prison indefinitely, that's not up for discussion, conservative Republicans. So-called Constitution lovers, is not up for discussion. John McCain is not up for discussion. Greg Gutfeld is not up for discussion. Bush cronies, Rove and Co. It's Michelle Malkin. I love the girl. I love Michelle Malkin. But on the NSA, she is wrong. Wrong. Anyway, I think I've had my vent. This is like the video is at 19 minutes, so enjoy. Comment. Let me know what you guys think. Talk to you later.